Creating functions in Excel. So Excel has a bunch of built-in functions, just like your calculator or something. If you come over to formula, you can see a bunch of the different functions there are. So here's like what's in your calculator. So there's arctan, cosine, cotangent, and these are things like, let's say I want to find the cosine of 30 degrees, and I'd say equals, and I'd type in this function. Cosine is a function, and then I'd say, I want to know the cosine of 30 degrees. It's actually in radians instead of degrees, so I have to say times pi. There's another function divided by 180. Okay, and then this will calculate what the cosine of 30 degrees is. So it has all of these little functions in there. There's date and time and text and if then statements, not or, little logic things. So lots of great little functions in here. But let's say you want to make your own function in Excel. So I'm calculating grades and I don't want to do it all by hand. So let's say I want to make a function that takes a number and then assigns a letter to that number. So if I were to change this to 75, then it would change my B to a C, and I wouldn't have to go through and do all of that by hand. To make a function, it's a little bit different than what we made before. Before we were making subroutines, and this time we're going to call it a function. So I'm going to come back and get back into my little Visual Basic, and let's see where he was. I think he was here under Module 2 on that example spreadsheet I gave you. So here we're starting with a function instead of with a subroutine. So just a little bit different. And let me go ahead and copy and zoom in on this. Okay, so here is our code for creating just a public function. First, we're going to have to give it a name. So I'm going to call this grades, and this is what we're going to type into the cell here. Okay, so grades. And also in our function, it's going to use information to calculate something. Okay, so inside these parentheses, this is what information we're passing to our function, and then it's going to take that information and do something with it. Okay, so we define that what is inside of here, we're going to call it number, and we're going to take that number and just use another if-then statement to assign a letter grade. So if the number is larger than 88, then it's an A, or it's a B, or it's a C. So it's just picking up something and outputting. Right here is what grades function is going to output. You have to make sure that what you name the function matches. That's the one thing about programming. It's case sensitive. You have to get every little parenthesis exactly right. Like if I didn't make this plural, it would come back with an error message. It's a lot nicer now in that everything is color coded and it'll kind of help you debug it. But start with somebody else's program and then modify just one or two lines at a time, and that'll save you a little bit of debugging. What I want you to do is study this function, see how it works, and there's a bunch of other YouTubes showing you how to make other various functions as well. See if you can either modify this guy, so maybe instead of just ABC, you would modify it to have A plus, A, and A minus, so a few more grades in there than just generic ABC, or maybe there's some little thing for your project that you'd like to create. So make a function, and again, if you step into viewing your code, if you want to create your own module, all you have to do is just say insert module, and then if you want to make a function, then you just type function and then give it a name, my function, decide what kind of variables you're going to put in there. So you can start your own modules, start your own subroutines, and then try it out and see if you can get something to work. Start with something simple, but this is the other super useful thing that you can do in Excel to help you out.